termination came, SML also issued a statement, and they say that their work, their operations were lawful, transparent, and beneficial to the state, and so they denying any wrongdoing in the execution of their mandate under the contracts that they had. Your thoughts? OSP says there was no genuine reason for the contract in the first place. Did it take us too long to terminate this contract?
You see, when I heard the OSP said there was no genuine reason, then I laughed in my head. I nearly fell on the ground. Do you know why?
Why?
See, when we talk about revenue assurance in this country, many people don't know the details of what we call revenue assurance. And many people will only talk about SML because it's SML that is on the chopping board today. If SML has done anything wrong, let the Lord deal with them. It's Ghana money. But to tell me that in the opinion it is needless, something being needless does not amount, it's not same as something being criminal.
True.
I hope you understand. That if you say this is needless, it is also not same as this is criminal. I'm not a lawyer, but my little understanding of English makes me understand the difference between something being needless and something being criminal. So if the OSP, who has made all kinds of criminal allegations, now is telling us that the deal is needless, I ask myself, is he now saying that it's needless and not criminal? You see, I asked this question and I said, whatever SM has done that is wrong, the law must deal with them. But when you read the KPMG report, the KPMG report made it clear. I'm not an accountant and I don't have the expertise KPMG has. But they said after their studies, everything they have done, indeed SML's work contributed to the increase in revenue of GRA. That's what KPMG report said. But they dispute that the amount that the SML says they have increased the revenue by, they don't believe that it's only SML's work that has increased the revenue to that amount. So in that report, they actually came up with the percentage of increase they think SML's work has added to GRA revenue. And they looked at, before SML, there were annual increments in GRA's own revenue. So then they look at the additional increment, and the report said, this is what they think is the increment SML has added. That same report also raised issues of...
This is on pages 157 and 158.
It's
titled Value or Benefits, and it says key observations. The following were observed from the analysis of the revenue collected by GRA over the period 2015 to 2023. An incremental growth in revenue was observed from 2015 to 2023, except for a decline observed solely in 2017. One significant contributor to this growth was the increase in the number of taxes over the years, i.e. from 2 taxes in 2015 to 5 taxes in 2023. Another significant contributor to this growth is the increase in tax rates in 2016, 2019, and 2021. However, there was a decrease in tax rates in 2017, coinciding with a revenue reduction from 2016 to 2017. For any petroleum product lifted to be taxable, it must be declared in ICOMS. GRA's records of petroleum volumes lifted, taxable and non-taxable, are transmitted from MPA's ERDMS systems into ICOMS. SML's flow meters readings are used for assurance purposes only. And then when you go to 158...
What I read is not that place, but I've read that report and I even did a story on it. That the work has increased some revenue, but they dispute the amount of increase.
Right.
So they actually stated by what value they think SML's work has increased. That is KPMG. Look, when we say a revenue assurance project, we think it is needless. You can make that argument anywhere, because anybody can wake up and make that argument. But you're not the one making the decisions. And I want to draw Ghanaians and bring their attention. In the port, it started with President Kufuor with GCNet. The customs were doing their own work.
Yeah.
We said the custom officers are pocketing part of the money. So we want to bring in technology so that people don't pocket money. We brought in GCNet. GCNet has worked. We brought in West Blue. Before we brought in ICAMS. They are all supposed to be given a revenue assurance. Okay? Go to telecom sector. Okay? We had Suba Info Solutions and AfriWave Telecom.
Yeah.
working for revenue assurance for what? Interconnect activities. At that time, many people hold the view that what they were doing was needless because NCA is capable of doing that, so it was needless. It was even a campaign message MPP used against NDC. At that time, Ghana was paying $1.5 million a month for that work. When the MPP came to power, when they were in position, they opposed it. They attacked the NDC for that contract. When they came to power, instead of cancelling it, they said, oh, the thing is important. But they will save Ghana by reducing the amount from $1.5 million a month to $1.1 million a month. So they have saved the state $400,000. But they sacked the company and then they brought in Kelly GVG. That is what we did. That's revenue assurance. Okay? That is for just the telecom sector. Now I've given you the ports.
The ports.
Go to ECG. We brought in Haptel. You read a report from the Auditor General. Even monies were paid to Haptel at the time that their contract had not even been officially signed. Revenue assurance is a place to make a lot of money. I personally have a lot of issues with revenue assurance. And I've always questioned issues of revenue assurance on grounds that we are using systems to collect the revenue. And we always complain that it appears some people are making money using the system. Bring in a third party, and for that third party, the contract should say that the person will be paid a percentage of revenue collected based on a revenue collected. Then we take all the control systems so that a private person is in charge. The reasoning is that when the private person is doing it, because we pay a percentage of what is collected, there is no motivation to collect bribes and let the revenue not come. Because their payment will be dependent on the amount of revenue they collect. That is why we introduce revenue assurance into our system. But I have a problem with revenue assurance on grounds that the contract we have signed, what we are talking about SML, they have to review every revenue assurance contract across board. The reason being that when we talk about revenue assurance, the institution is collecting this amount, okay? And we can say that every year there is this increment in the amount based on various reasons. Then we bring in a company to come and do revenue assurance. The company will run to do revenue assurance. Instead of saying that the company is collecting maybe 10 billion, so that one, you are not getting anything from it. It is the additional money beyond 10 billion that you get a percentage. That's not what we do.
Okay.
We bring in the companies and we say the total amount collected, you get a percentage. The question is the person gets a percent for total amount collected. Because a certain amount is already being collected
by
without the person's system. Without that system you are bringing, the state is collecting a certain amount of money already. So on what basis should that company you are bringing in,
the new company for the
be collecting
assurance,
a percentage of what already the state has been collecting? But if you can look at from the ICAMS to GCNet to West Blue to Haptel to Kelly GVG, every one of the contract, they are collecting on the total amount collected. So the question is, if it's revenue assurance and really we want to save this country, under no circumstance should any revenue assurance the contract allow the person to be collecting a percentage of what we are already collecting. It should just be that additional money that has come on board, that the person must get a percentage. Because without your system, because without your system, we're already collecting this amount. But then we sign all this contract. That is why there are always suspicion that there are big people in the system, whether under NDC or NDP government. This revenue assurance contract, they are the ones behind it. Because when they collect and the money is big, they share and almost everybody gets some. Because I don't understand why the state has a system that collects 10 billion. And then you come and collect 12 billion. Okay? Instead of paying you the percentage on the 2 billion, we are paying a percentage on all the 12 billion. And that is what the ICAMS from ICAMS to GCNet, West Blue to ICAMS, that's what we have done. From Kelly GVG to from Suba Afriwave to Kelly GVG, that's what we have done to the country. It got to ECG, and there are so many others. There are so many other revenue assurance contracts all over the system, and this is how we pay them. So for me, what we are doing to SML, if you want to say it is needless, then every revenue assurance contract is needless. Every revenue. So we are crucifying SML as if they are the only company doing that. Because, as I said, for Kelly GVG, and Super and the argument was clear. Imani, all of us, NPP was joined that look. NPA already does this thing. So there's no way.
That's NCA.
So NCA. So let's just give them the equipment they need. They can do this interconnect. We don't need to build any system by any private person. By that time, NDC had contracted Afriway to build a system. And then Super Info Solutions came in. Even there was a time, Afriway and Super Info were fighting over who should control interconnect in this country. It was a whole media mess, if you remember.
Yeah.
And then when NPP changed, everyone said, NPP is going to cancel the contract. Then they said, no, the people have been paying $1.5 million. We are going to pay 1.1, but we'll change the company to KPMG. So if we are doing this to SML, then it means that the OSP and everybody should now go to KPMG. They should go to Haptel. They should go to ICAMS and say, because the state was collecting this amount of money before you came, you can't be paid on this amount. It's only additional. ECG was collecting revenue before Haptel, or ECG was not collecting revenue. Were there zero income?
No.
ECG was collecting revenue. So why will Haptel get a percent of the total revenue that ECG collects at the end of the day? Simply because their system have deployed. Why are we not saying that if ECG is collecting 50 billion and you bring your system, you get 55 billion, is the 5 billion that is the additional revenue, and then that is what you will be paid on? Why are we not doing that? So that's what I said when the AOSP said it's needless. I laughed.
You found it funny.
Because from my understanding, because I have followed these revenue assurance systems issues, because I believe that state is losing so much money in this place, because these are money that should come to the state. Instead of empowering the institution by supplying the kind of equipment and system for them
technology,
to work, we say still the people who will be managing it, who will have the password, may have their own way. But if we give the private person and says that for you, your payment is based on how much revenue has come, so you have no motivation to do anything that will reduce revenue, because then you may not get enough payment. So you will make sure that there's no undercutting in the system. That is the main motivation of bringing in all kinds of third parties to government institutions. And that's what we've done. And so if you are saying the conclusion is that it is needless, then every revenue assurance contract in the system is needless. Then how you are treating SML, you have to apply to all. Because we've all made the argument about all these institutions that, what is it that they cannot do? The argument is that NPA can do it. They can't give you say NCA can do it, right? The port, you say you give them the IT system, they can do it. So you see, as I've said, I'm not against anybody. I'm not against prosecution of anybody that is said to have done something wrong. But if the OSP now is turning, see, beginning, he didn't say it is needless. Beginning, we were made to believe that there was a criminal enterprise that had done something. By the last press conference, he is now saying that his new argument is that it is needless because institutions exist who can already do it. If that's the argument that institutions exist who can already do it, then all other revenue assurance contract institutions already exist that can do it. Then all of them are needless. And are you going to court to go and tell the court that because the thing is needless, in your opinion it's needed, but the people who are managing the place think it is needed, you think that the court should say the people are criminals or what? Because you see, let's approach this very carefully, and I believe that everybody listening to me will begin to have a clearer view of what we call revenue assurance. And the issues we are raising about SML does not apply to only SML when we are talking about the argument is that it is needless. Because if you ask me today, I can tell you that I still stand by the fact that revenue assurance of interconnectivity of telecommunications is needless no matter which company is involved, because I believe that NCA is positioned and capable of doing it. So I will also tell you that then let's go and collect all the money we paid through Afriway, Super Info Solutions, and what we are paid to KPMG. We should collect all back to the state, because what they have done is needless. Because then the NCA is capable of doing it. So if the argument that NPA is capable of doing it, then that's not the matter. You see, this SML 10 we talk about, when did ICOMS come? ICOMS came in the 1st June 2020. So before ICOMS, the same system was being done by West Blue. Okay? And because West Blue was in partnership with GCNet. How we even got GCNet out of the system? Go and check. And people will tell you that there were big people who tried to push and bring their own company. So you see, this revenue assurance sector is something that if you want to really look at it critically, when you listen to some of the things being said about SML, you laugh. Because bottom line is, as I said, I'm not an expert in accounting. But if KPMG says that, and that's why I love the KPMG way, because they established that these were the revenues that were being made before SML was brought on board. When SML came, these were the revenue increases. But they don't believe that the revenue increases are all attributable to SML. That's why they brought in the new taxes. So they believe that new taxes that have come in have also increased revenue. So out of that increment, they allocated a certain portion. I don't remember the amount. That is what they think SML has led to in the whole scheme. That's why the KPMG report, if you want to read it and it's not that because you have visited that somebody has done something wrong. If you read the KPMG report, but I think that they did a very excellent job because they told us that this is how much was being made. When SML came, this is how revenue increased. But SML is not totally responsible for the increment. There were taxes that were brought on board. Yes. They believe that the taxes were brought on, contributed this amount to the increment. And therefore, the remaining increment that is there was contributed by SML. And therefore, they said that the payment made to SML is more than what they should have paid if they had been paid based on the increment that they brought in. And that is why I'm saying that if we want to do this SML thing and we think we want to save the state money, there's not only SML. Every revenue assurance contract must be reviewed. And my position is that if the company is collecting A before you engage a revenue assurance company, the A you are collecting, that amount, that company should not get any money from that. It's the additional revenue that will come. That is where we should pay a percentage to the contractor that we brought in to increase the revenue. If we do that, we'll get even better revenue assurance systems because see, the increment that will come will be small. And therefore, if they really want to be paid good money, it means that they have to bring in a more efficient system that will make sure that the leap in increment is huge because they are only going to be paid based on the additional revenue. And therefore, we'll have a bigger leap in the increment. That is where the real issue is. So, if you think that we should collect our money from SML, then every revenue assurance contract we have in the system, which is being paid based on existing revenue before they were brought on board, we should go and collect all the money that we have paid them for money that the system was collecting before they came. And only leave them with the one that they should be paid based on the additional revenue that has come. So for me, anybody that has done anything wrong, we should deal with them. But if you are telling me that it is needless, in my little English, needless, that it's not same as criminality. So if you say, this thing I've done is needless, then I've committed a crime. So if it's needless, why are we making it look like it's a criminal enterprise? You can have your own opinion that the thing is needed. Somebody's opinion or the people in charge at the time think that this is needed. And you are not the one in charge at the time. You understand it? So for me, let's not just always come to this conclusion that once there's a revenue assurance contract, somebody was paid, there's criminality. Let's look at the issues. And I will be glad if we look at a complete review. Right now, there's a lot of complaint that we don't think that the oil fields and the gold companies are reporting the right information.
True.
Up to now, what system have we put in place as a country to be able to deal with that? And then if somebody says, I have a system that can say, oh, I think this is fraud. So there's suspicion that these institutions, it's allegation against them, that we don't believe that they are reporting the right figures. What system has the state be able to deploy? If they're not able to deploy, someone come and say, I think this can work. And then this is, oh, it is criminal. Right now, I read over the president has ordered that all the mining companies should be audited. Why are we asking for audit? If we think the existing systems that GRA and co have are so solid and are getting us all the money we need, why is the president asking for an audit into the operation of this multinational? So let's be realistic that if there are things we think can be done to solve these things, let's do it in a way and manner that doesn't bring this kind of stuff. I believe that if every revenue assurance contract is being paid based on the additional revenue, not what was already being collected before you are brought in, but only the increment in revenue, I think many people will not have problem with it because there's evidence that since you came in, we've seen this increment. We are paying you a percentage of 1 or 2% based on the additional increment and not all the revenue. So if you collect 50 billion and then we bring in the company, bring in 55 billion, and then we pay the company a percentage of the entire 55 billion. How does this make sense to anybody?
Very well, very well. Ibrahim, 2 more minutes on this, and then we can move.